I love roguelite games, and the one we're discussing today is maybe one of my favorites, and yet it rarely ever gets talked about. It's time to fix that. Today we're talking about ZIGGURAT, a roguelite FPS game that has you step into the shoes of a wizard apprentice and take on the trials of the ziggurat. By the way, if you saw roguelike in the title, that's just because YouTube keywords favor roguelike. This is actually roguelite. We don't need to get into that whole discussion, but I just wanted to clear that up in case some of you were about to rage on me in the comments. Hello everybody, my name is Johnny and I'm doing a weekly series of videos where I discuss some of my favorite games to celebrate the creator's work and bring some much needed positivity to the gaming space. With all the turmoil and uncertainty out there, we all need more than ever something positive, so this is my grain of sand. If you dig the video, you can always get more over on my Twitch channel where I'm live Monday, Wednesday and Saturday. Let's get started. ZIGGURAT was created by Milestone Studios, a small team of 5 people back in 2014. After only 2 months of early access, it was released, and I got to play it just a metric ton of hours. At first glance, it seems like a simple game with randomized encounters and rooms. However, quite quickly you find that there's real depth here. You can choose from a total of 17, yes guys, 7 fucking teen characters, each with their own value proposition, trade-offs. Additionally, you have a ton of spells, staffs, or staves? Staffs, and alchemy weapons to couple with all the perks and talents that you can pick up as you level up. That gives you an idea of the replayability value here. Each weapon can combine with different perks in unique ways and alter the way you play the game. As most roguelites, the run is over when you beat the game or die. You don't carry any weapons over to the next run, but you do unlock new perks, weapons, and characters as you play. Once you have everything unlocked, the combinations seem truly endless. Now that I've given you the back of the book description of what the game is, let me go to past Johnny and show you how it plays. So when you start a new game, you'll find many options when it comes to different characters. You got Argo, the basic one that has balanced stats, and then from there, each character has a unique trade-off. In some cases, they may be good with one particular type of weapon, but then poor with the others, or maybe they're fast-moving but have less HP. Maybe they have a lot of HP, but lose HP over time, like the vampire character, or perhaps the librarian, who is very good with spells but actually gets less experience. So you got quite unique trade-offs going on here and a lot of different types of characters to go for that gives for a lot of different builds as well. So we're gonna go to Sid the Apprentice here, who starts with lower stats but gets more experience in the game. So you can end up being a powerhouse with this guy if you manage to not die early on. So we're gonna try that. Here's the first floor, and when you start a new floor, you get a new weapon. So it could be a staff like it was here, but it could also be spells or alchemy, and those are the 3 mana bars that you see on the right hand side of the screen there. Aside from that, you also have your wand, which is your basic attack that regenerates infinitely. It just has the cooldown as it regenerates, so you can't totally spam it. You will run out of mana and then you need to kind of wait it out until it comes back. Obviously, the basic attack isn't as powerful as the others. Some of the juice in this game is the different weapons, okay? Each different staff or spell or alchemy has its kind of pros and cons, strengths and all of that, and they're useful in different circumstances. For example, this is a very small and square room in which if we had something like an AoE spell, that could really work out because we could get all of these little carrots to chase us, for example, and then, you know, throw a big AoE attack and kill a lot of them in one go. So that's the kind of thing that you're going to be doing here. Situationally, different things will work better for you. One thing to note is that enemies are random, so the fact that we got carrots in this room is random. Okay, it's not predefined and it could have been another type of enemy. In addition to that, you have room modifiers, which means you could go into a room and find that enemies are larger, for example. That's just one of the modifiers, and in that case they're also tankier, so not only larger in size but also tankier, and you get also more experience as a result. So typically there's some kind of trade-off, okay? It's not just the game screwing you. there's some kind of trade-off. If it's a tougher room, you're probably going to be getting more experience, and with that come perks, which we're going to discuss in a little bit when we level up as well. So here you see the basic wand attack. It's not incredibly powerful, but it does get the job done when we run out of mana with our other type of weapons. And we got a level up right there. So in a second here, we're going to see for the first time our option of perks. So when you hit that level up button, you will get an option of 2 perks to choose from. And we can see here in this case, we have one that gives us more experience, which that synergizes very well with our character, because as we discussed, this particular character gets more experience in general as well to start with. So that kind of builds into our archetype here. And that's kind of what I want to drive home, is this idea of creating an archetype or a build as you go. Okay, so you start off in this kind of blank slate, but as you go, you're going to define this kind of build that you're going for, or the archetype of your character. You know, maybe you're going to be focusing on staffs, or maybe you're going to be focusing on, you know, getting a lot of experience and then kind of building a lot of perks that way. So you could really do a ton of different strategies here, and a lot of times random combinations will happen that will cause amazing outcomes as well. I've had some really OP runs just out of sheer luck because of the combination of the talents that have come up. You also get special enemies that have some kind of modifier. You saw right there, that was an invisible enemy. Okay, and again, we're getting the same perk as before. The choice of cards that show for you is random as well. So depending on your luck, you could really get some great ones or get a lot of the same card and then build it up all the way to max. Or you could really have very bad luck and not get anything that connects or makes sense together. It's kind of part and parcel of these games. So let's skip ahead a little bit. We're now doing the boss of the first floor, Sir Arthur. So the choice of boss is again random, so we don't know what we're gonna get, and each floor has a set of bosses that can appear for you. In this case, we got Sir Arthur, which is one of the simpler bosses. As you can see, kind of a very simple boss design overall. We have a bunch of little skulls chasing us around, and the guy himself throws a lot of like fire skulls at us. And he's got a couple other attacks, but this is amongst the simplest boss designs in the game. You can expect more complex and interesting designs as you go up levels, or again, just luck of the draw, depending on what you get. But you can see here it's fairly easy to tackle this one with basic kind of strafing mechanics. So it really can range. You can get something that's a lot more challenging here, and also depending on how the floor went for you, you might come into this with very little HP. In our case, we didn't have a lot of HP either. We're actually close to dying there, but we get a lot of potions drop when we beat that boss. And that's the end of the floor here. This is really what I wanted to show you, just to give you a taste of what it is like to play a run in here. I don't want to show too much else because I don't want to spoil more weapons or enemies. But I think you get the idea. So the juice here will be weapons and the different builds you can do, and then the variety in enemies as well, including bosses and all of that. Back to present Johnny here. I hope I was able to convey how enjoyable the game is, and perhaps even convinced you to check it out. If you do check it out, let me know what you think, and make sure to hype up the devs at Milkstone Studios too. They've created something amazing here, and I'm sure they'll really appreciate hearing from more people playing the game. That's it. Stay tuned for the next video every week. Perhaps consider joining me on Twitch, and as always, thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.